Hey YouTube, this is Full Spectrum Survival. Me and my brother have watched as many YouTube videos as we can. We really appreciate everything that you guys do. You put out great videos on so many topics, things that we had never thought about or thought about discovering or thought about diving into even. And the commenters too, you guys leave great comments. You get us thinking, you get the original viewer post authors thinking, and we just really appreciate it. And thanks for watching our video today. What we want to do, and kind of the objective of our video series here, is to bring to light things that are often discussed in survival manuals and different places throughout the sustainable industry, but aren't shown. And you know, we really got on this first with traps, because every survival handbook, and my brother can attest greatly here, tells you 30 different ways to make traps. And not a single one of them shows anyone catching any food with it. And we've seen some great guys use traps like Buckshot. Yeah, Buckshot uses traps tremendously. If I could trap half as well as Buckshot, I'd be in good business there. So we think there, you know, we have here some plants to do guerrilla gardening, because that's another thing in either a preparedness or bushcraft. You know, if you have a semi-permanent camp or a survival scenario, everyone says you should try to garden what you can to supplement the food that you're using. And that's great in theory, but we're worried that it is just a theory, because we know that one plant or 5 plants won't really won't sustain your family. And we also think that you might have to put out 20 plants, and my brother said that you might only have to put out 10, and that'd be great if you can get to only having to put out 10 to get to a 10-to-1 ratio where you're able to have 10 plants out and
one is actually producing.
Yeah, exactly. So he found these at Harbor Freight, and if you want to tell him a little bit about what you found there.
Yeah, this was in researching the experiment. We were looking at watering needs. If you had to do a 20 to 1 producer, 20 plants out in either an urban or a rural environment that are hidden. Some type of protection from predation. When we first looked at that project, we thought to ourselves, okay, well, where we live in a rural area in the deep south, there's a lot of predation. We have an enormous amount of insects. We have armadillos. We have deer that are roaming freely. So the first thing on our list, before I get to these, is predation. And what could you find to limit the amount of predation that your gardening in a guerrilla fashion was subjected to? So we wanted to take the approach that, well, you didn't go buy everything at the store first, which you'll see this wire. This did come off a brand new roll, but we know here in a rural environment, there are plenty of abandoned farms that we could find similar and a resource like chicken wire to make a field expedient predator barrier between the plant and its surroundings. So that was the first thing: is can we protect the plants at a 10 to 1 or 20 to 1, and do we have the resources available? So once we answered that question, yes. The next thing we looked at was if we do get into those type of figures, similar to trapping, where to get 1 producer we have to have 10 plants out in the open. We thought about water, and whose job is it going to be, his job or my job, to carry around the 5 gallons of water from the lake? We thought about planting some of the plants by the lake. So what we came up with was another experiment inside of the experiment, and that's a self-watering, some type of a drip system. These we found at Harbor Freight. They were $2.99. We don't know if they work or not. They have 2 holes drilled in. We figured if they did work for the experiment, we'd find a field expedient way to make these. We know gathering resources, you can get a 2-liter pop bottle. They're everywhere. So what we're going to do is we're going to take these are 3 plants we obviously bought from the store. We have learned from people on YouTube, and we've done well at sprouting our own seeds. We're going to do that, and we're going to sprout seeds plants that in the deep south we feel are high volume producers. Your squash, your zucchini, right. Things that we think could give you more than just 1 meal. Every 75 days. So. What we have here are 2 tomato plants that we picked up and a pepper plant, and that's what we're going to start out with. And over the next couple of days, we're going to start sprouting some other plants to add to the experiment. So we're going to look at the water intake, and is this a viable solution? It might not be a viable solution at 20:1, but we think it might be at 10:1. Look at what the overall water intake is for the plants. Look at the environment of where we plant them in for the Deep South, and look to see what type of what type of barrier this is going to produce from predation. Now, our other big concern is insects. Just you could consider those to be predation, but here we have an enormous amount of crop-eating insects.
Caterpillars, everything.
Yeah, we have everything, and we try not use any insecticides on our normal garden. And in this garden, we said, okay, well, let's see how in a test group it works out to using 0, and then on some we use others, because we figure in an environment where you would be using a skill like guerrilla gardening, you're going to be harvesting resources, and those resources are going to come from abandoned barns, abandoned buildings, and or if you're involved in the community of prepping, it might be something that we identify that you're going to want to put back a few cases of, not just for your normal garden, but also if you had to rely on guerrilla gardening if the experiment works out. So we invite you back here to join us tomorrow. We're going to be filming the actual planting of these and some site selection. We're going to fashion a barrier, a predator barrier out of these two. We're going to start this and monitor the water needs. And we're going to also add to the plants as we go, and hopefully share something back to the YouTube community because you've shared so much with us. We've learned so much and asked ourselves so many hard questions we probably wouldn't have asked without you putting up some excellent content out there. So here at Full Spectrum Survival, we feel that we're going to work real hard to deliver content back to the community that you can use.
We want to thank you, too, for everything you've done. And if you've guerrilla gardened and made it work, please show us those videos and show everybody watching this video so they can see in a video reply. It can be done, because we'd like to see that too.
Yeah, and we would like to also see in other geographical locations. We know in the Deep South we can grow all year round. So, this is kind of a no-brainer for us in terms of we know the plants are going to grow. We know it's not going to take a lot of effort where someone in not such a hot, humid climate with the same soil conditions might not have the same results as we do. So stay tuned in, and thank you for viewing us. Again, thank you for your time.
Thanks.
Take care.